Bitcoin, crypto bubbles, passive indexation. There's a lot of financial jargon out there. Old Mutual can help you make sense of it all and give you great advice to make the right decisions. If you've got a question or want to know how to get the most out of your money, call them on 0860 60 60 60 or speak to an Old Mutual financial advisor or your broker. Today's the day. Get great financial advice so you can do great things. Old Mutual is a licensed financial services provider. Personal Finance, Warren Ingram, our financial advisor at Galileo Capital, is a director at Galileo Capital in studio with us this evening. And if you saw Gia Nicolaides' video report on EWN this week, you would have seen me play the part of Warren Ingram. In other words, the Grinch or the party pooper or the guy, the no fun guy, Mr. Captain Budget, Mr. Oh no, you can't have a life. I did that as part of her video because she'd been whinging and complaining like many people, about not having enough money and about how salaries not going up by inflation and how everything's costing more. And she was standing at a coffee stand buying herself an expensive cappuccino. So I intervened in her video and I said, no, Gia. And then I gave her the spiel, which Warren Ingram is going to deliver this evening. But I followed your advice this morning because I was reading through your points and I left home bright and early this morning, as I often do. And rather than stop off at one of my favorite coffee places, I had a takeaway cup from home and I made myself a perfectly brewed cup of home coffee, which I enjoyed considerably more for two reasons. One, it was nicer than the coffee I get in the shop. Exactly. And two, it was considerably cheaper than the 25 to 30 to sometimes 35 Rand you can pay to get coffee in an environmentally unfriendly throwaway cup.
Yeah. So you had a double whammy. Saved the world twice.
I did actually a triple whammy because, there was an environmental impact as well. And people underestimate the compounding effect of doing little things when times are tight.
And that's really what struck me this week was, I went to my colleagues in the business and I said, what's going on? What's bugging people? And this was the topic that came up. Everything's getting more expensive, and it's not as if it's one item which has suddenly doubled. It's just every little bit of cost of living has somehow gone up in the last little while. And that's the point, is if it's all kind of just nibbling away at us, then we need to find ways to nibble back, I guess. And that's what we need to talk about, is how do we save little bits of money? And if you save little bits of money every single day, suddenly by the end of the month, you've saved quite a bit. And by the end of the year, you've saved a heck of a lot.
But do you need to do it in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're robbing yourself? Because you've got to do this in a sustainable fashion. Because if I did all of these 10 things that you point out over here every single day, maybe I create new habits, or maybe I become very angry and unpleasant to be around, or I just be a very sad and unhappy person.
Okay, so let's look at a couple. So the one that I thought about was, a lot of people in the working environment, they seem to buy food for lunch. They don't just take a little bit of time to say, hang on, how can I do that slightly differently? Why don't I make food at home and bring it? Very old school, and just bring a lunchbox.
Because we don't have leftovers in our house.
So there leads to a couple of things that spin off straight away from that. Number one, buy in bulk. Because that makes a huge change to the cost of items. So, for example, if you just went and bought one loo roll, which you can do, and then you went and priced that same loo roll in a bag of 48 or whatever it is, the price is really different. So I mean, you should see our cupboard at home. We've got a cupboard of the extra stuff that we buy, and there's a heck of a lot of bulk loo roll in there. I mean, I think we're fine for like the next 2 years. But the point is,
You saw a deal.
We saw a deal. I'm married to the spreadsheet queen, so she knows what loo roll costs, and that was a good deal. And the same with food. If you buy your food in bulk and you cook bulk meals, where you immediately say, right, I'm going to package 3 or 4 of these into lunch portions, and then a couple into dinner portions, and we freeze them. Now you've got your instant food. Ready to eat food. That's going to cost you probably about a third of the price of getting that same meal at, as you say, worse quality, but at a takeaway place.
And we've got so used to convenience in the good times, and that's how businesses like Famous Brands have grown, because people feeling a bit more flush, feeling a bit more, having a bit more money to spend, rather than going home and cooking, pop via Steers, pick up 2 burgers, chips and a Coke, and go home, and it's only cost $120. Well, suddenly $120 feels like a lot of money.
I mean, that's probably the increase in the fuel price. That's just taken it away from you. So to me, that's the issue here is you're going to eat healthier anyway, and then you've done the bulk shopping, and then I think to kind of put in a little health kick to this whole thing as well, just to really save the world. I mean, meat is expensive. Wherever you go, whatever the protein is that you buy, that's expensive. And actually, I guess it might upset Tim Noakes, but my view is, eat a bit more veggies and have a little bit less meat. You don't have to have meat every single day of the week if you can possibly afford it. And so that already saves you money, number one. But number two, probably not so unhealthy. So we've had a couple already. There's some big ones. If you, for example, if you've got the streaming service on your TV, you're saving a heck of a lot of money. Whereas if you're still doing the satellite thing, that's literally 10 times the price of the streaming service. To me, that's a big number. So that would be one.
And there's also the therapeutic nature of going through your bank statements and going through not just last month's bank statement, but going through your bank statements and being completely honest with yourself and ticking off where there's been discretionary spend and saying, just how much value did I get from that T-shirt, that extra pair of jeans that is now hanging in the cupboard? How much joy did I get from, I went to Exclusive Books and I saw some fabulous books which I haven't yet read, but hell, I felt I had to have them. I needed some retail therapy because I went to the shops for fun and because it was raining or it was too cold or whatever. And suddenly you start realizing that those bad habits are actually costing you $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, depending on how bad your habit is, every single month.
Yeah, and what's interesting, just on that point, actually, on the books, is go to a second-hand bookshop. It's incredible how cheap they are. And you find fabulous books that are really current because people don't want to keep them. Literally, again, a fraction of the price that you'd pay for a new book. So just another one. And I mean, at all times we want people to read more. So what a great deal. And I thought, if you're cancelling your TV subscription, you can listen to the radio for free.
And you get us.
I mean, so you're going to listen to
because
more money saving.
This is really heartwarming. But it's important, and I get that. And also things like memberships. And you also forget that you actually took out a membership to a wine society that actually you don't bother going to anymore. And actually you're a member of X club that you haven't been to in 6 years. You pay your annual subscription to a golf membership that you actually haven't used, or worse, you pay a monthly subscription to a gym that you don't go to. Vitality doesn't pay for it anymore because you haven't gone often enough. And actually suddenly that price has crept up and you're getting nailed.
My favorite topic, because I'm that guy that is at the gym the whole year at 5:45 in the morning. And I can tell you, when I was there yesterday and I'll be there again tomorrow, I'm one of about 5 or 6 people. And I can tell you there are lots more people paying a monthly subscription to go to that very same gym. I see them all on the 1st of September when it's spring, and they're there for their first 3 weeks of spring, and then they disappear again. So why not just cancel? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. Why pay for the entire year?
And when it comes to reviewing financial products as well, I mean, and ensuring that you have enough insurance, but also making sure that you are getting a quote on your car insurance, getting a quote on your household insurance, understanding the benefits of your insurance, but understanding what it's costing you as well. And almost invariably, if you review those things regularly, which is what we're in the process of doing at home right now, there's money to be saved, and quite substantial amounts.
And I think the 2 key points. One, don't cancel your insurance because you want to save money. Murphy is going to cause you a car accident.
Mr. Murphy was waiting for you to cancel your insurance.
So don't do that. But then keep your insurance providers honest and do get the quotes. And as you say, you'll see it's remarkable how you can cut your insurance costs for the same cover.
Yeah, and this a bit of PT. It takes a bit of time. It takes a little bit of organization. It takes a bit of knowing where your stuff is. And that's not a bad exercise either, because if your life is chaotic and there are documents everywhere all over the place, this is a good way to get yourself organized again and getting control of your life. Because if you don't have control over your bank statements, if you don't have control over your insurance documents, if you don't have control of where your medical aid is going and where your outgoings are, you're never going to have any kind of financial freedom, because money just evaporates out of your bank account.
And at the moment, as costs are rising, that's just doubling up on you. Your habits are hurting you, and then everything's just getting more expensive.
Warren Ingram from Galileo Capital. He is a financial advisor.